Let's go with Ernie. Race. Numbers 32 and 33. They actually film right next door to the voice that take over sound stages 30, 31, and number 34. I know it's kind of out of order, but the three of those stages were closest to each other. The voice used to film out of this stage here to your left-hand side. This is soundstage number 12. One of our larger sound stages. In the past, it was home to Tropic Thunder, one of my favorite movies. It's also been home to the last scene of Jurassic Park. So it's a very iconic soundstage. Oh, and it's also been home to Index, which is a news group that will be built within the walls of a soundstage. Or if you see Bruce walking around his living room, bedroom, kitchen, those are all sets built within the walls of sound stages. But if you see Bruce walking around his neighborhood, maybe he's walking his dog, finding his way through a very angry crowd, those will be sets featured here in the Metropolitan section. So we're getting a sneak peek of New York Street there on the right-hand side. We're actually going to drive down there very soon, but we're going to focus on our first major neighborhood. Coming up on the right is Brownstone Street, famous for quite a bit, but do you guys recognize it as Bruce's neighborhood in Bruce Almighty?
Race the dog!
I'm in the shower!
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good. Oh, you're done now. Great. Beautiful.
Brownstone Street is beautiful. Well, the next part of Milan is usually everyone's favorite because it was right about here where Marty McFly was trying his best to get the DeLorean to go to 88 miles per hour. So next up is Hill Valley from Back to the Future. We're going to be making a right-hand turn here in just a few moments, but Marty McFly does not go right. He goes straight ahead back in time. So as we round the corner, we're going to see this truck parked at the end of the street to the left-hand side. That's about where the DeLorean disappears. That gray wall that is now a soundstage, imagine that being the front of the movie theater. Doc Brown runs into the middle of the street there, watches as the DeLorean disappears, does a little bit. The beautiful part about New York Street, which is what we're rounding the corner onto now, is that it's called New York, but it can be any major metropolitan city in the world that we need it to be. You've seen this in Captain America: The First Avenger, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Changeling with Angelina Jolie, The Blues Brothers, directed by John Landis. This has been seen in shows like SWAT, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Good Girls, 911, Kenan, Hunters, Will and Grace, How I Met Your Mother, Quantum Leap, TED TV, and this has been an obstacle course for 6 consecutive seasons of American Ninja Warrior.
Hey Studio Tour, this is Akbar Bajabiamila, and did you know that we film American Ninja Warrior right here on New York Street? In fact, we built the entire course in just a few days. Take a look.
శ్రీరామ్ నేను తీస్తున్నాను
So they gotta know that it is exactly what they say it is. Now, there's a lot of green screen and blue screen being utilized for production these days, so it's not surprising at all when we see large blue screen tarps being put over all of our buildings on New York Street, or maybe there's a wall of green screen brought in to cut off that end of New York Street so production doesn't see the trams going by in the background. We're in a very digital era when it comes to making movies. Now, we do have a lot of digital aspects here on the studio tour. did not do this alone. He works with this incredible team. They're based out of New Zealand. This team is now known as Weta FX. They're formerly known now as Weta Digital. They have 7 Oscars for their work on Avatar, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. All this stuff we're gonna do. And my stuff would just be, oh, this is fun we're gonna have. What's not been fun lately, guys, I'll be honest with you, here has been this whole weather situation. I am not a production needs rain for a scene. We're gonna show you how we can create it for them. This is Old Mexico. This set has been seen in Three Amigos, starring Timmy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin. Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti. And Lady Gaga's music video for her song, Judas. Let's cue the rain, please. Perfect. So we're setting water up and over-entering the systems, letting it fall down to the ground naturally. Now, production was here in this moment at 5:18 p.m. This would really just be a practice run. Trying to see if we need to add any more water to the screen, especially since we're just getting here for production. This is most likely going to be an evening shoot. So we're going to have to fill in all the gaps with more sprinkler systems. At minimum, 30. I'm going to take about 50 and we can begin to fill into the evening. The more water on screen, the easier it is to see as it gets darker. We're going to add a little bit of carbon filter to the water as well to give it a pop on screen. Thankfully, what's not known is that massive pop. I try to spin and you guys shoot it. That is going to be if you're coming into it seriously. Maybe just I mean, are you guys okay? Just a little water on the left hand side. So now we're heading on over to 6 Points, our beautiful Western set that has been featured in hundreds of the classic cowboy films. The ones that have starred the legends like John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Kirk Douglas, Clint Eastwood, but now this part of a lot is mostly known for a movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Written, produced, and directed by Quentin Tarantino, this film stars Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Margot Robbie. Now, Margot had all of her scenes to film around the greater Los Angeles area at some really cool landmark locations, but Brad and Leo were the ones that were here 6 days a week, most weeks, 3 months worth of production. Everything here at 6 Points makes an appearance. So the fact that it's almost half the film, that's a pretty big deal. Now, this set, 6 Points, Texas, is smack dab in the middle of the tour. No matter which way we go, we will encounter 6 Points. So the days that they were filming, we would often have the tram coming in from the left-hand side, and there were days that Quentin Tarantino would film in the middle of the intersection. So we would stop about 50 feet before this production. It would be absolute silence. We were so close to this production, we could literally hear Quentin say cut and action, right? So when they would yell cut, a lot of the times they would just move the set a little bit in. And is he a newcomer? We would have to pretend we didn't know who they were. So it was one of the cooler productions that we got to witness here on the studio tour. So if you haven't seen it, like I said, definitely got to check it out. Brad Pitt won an Oscar for that one, by the way, for Best Supporting Actor in a Major Motion Picture. A lot of the promo pictures that kind of hinted at what the movie was about for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood were taken here in Little Europe. Now, Little Europe, when they were filming Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, was closed to the tour because this is where they were filming The Good Place with Ted Danson and Kristen Bell.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So yes, we're driving through The Good Place, but we're also driving through Genovia for The Princess Diaries 2 and Royal Engagement. We're also driving through a little bit of Tortuga for Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, as well as a little bit of Bon Temps from HBO's True Blood with Anna Paquin, Stephen Moyer, and Alexander Skarsgård. On a lighter note, this is also where we have filmed the live-action Cinderella, the one starring Whitney Houston, Brandy, Jason Alexander, and Whoopi Goldberg. All of our monster movie history is here in Little Europe. Dracula, The Wolfman, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Bride of Frankenstein, they all have history here in Little Europe. Now, the monsters were the first movies that Universal Studios ever made. Universal created the monster genre. The monster genre that went on to pave the way for the Titans of Terror, like Freddy, Jason, and Michael, which is why we make it a point here every year to have an event called Halloween Horror Nights, otherwise known as HHN. It's right around the corner, by the way. Because, yes, we want to compete with the other studios, absolutely, but HHN is what helps us represent who we are as a production company. Some studios... Alrighty guys, this intersection right here, I like to kind of get everybody in the know and on the same page because this is the official halfway point of the tour. Even though we're a little more than halfway through at this point, if you need to be off of this tram for any reason because you dropped an item, can't wait to use the restroom, gotta get back to the theme park, whatever the case may be, it is okay, pull down the red cord. We'll keep you guys, we'll get you guys accommodated. But also keep in mind that we do have one more motion simulator to go through, which is Fast and Furious Supercharged. So be mindful with how you're feeling. I'll give you guys a heads up before we actually head on over to that experience. But right now, we're approaching Amity. And Amity is associated with Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Thankfully, our version of Amity is nowhere near as problematic as Steven Spielberg's was. Because our shark, you know what? We'll talk about the shark in a second. Let's talk about George right now. He's our police diver. When we bring the trams through, George likes to put together a reenactment of a scene for the movies. So, let's see how George does today. Jaws is known as the first ever summer blockbuster. Before Jaws was released into theaters the summer of 1975, people didn't really think to go to the movies as an experience for the summer. People were too focused on going to, going on vacation somewhere new, or maybe going to the beach, hanging out with their friends, chilling by the pool. Going to the theaters just wasn't a thought. But Jaws, there was so much buzz around this film for being so is Barricade. Now we are expecting about 5 more cars here, all from the Fast and Furious franchise. We typically can put the Fast and Furious vehicles on display anywhere on the studio tour, and people will be happy because people do love the cars just as much as they love the characters from that world, right? But when we put them here, it's for a kind of like a secret reason. Potentially, they have the ability to be utilized as getaway vehicles, and if you're crazy enough to check in next door, you're going to want to get out of here pretty quickly. And the only way to do that is to use one of the Fast and Furious vehicles, because next door is the Bates Motel from the film. So there's no real telling exactly where he is. But Mother, she always watches.
Probably watching me. Well, let them see what kind of a
For this film, just so they can rip it apart. When this was a brand new set on the lot, a pilot flew over this, making his descent into the Burbank airport. He saw the set from above and thought it was real, so he called the whole thing in as a plane crash.
Forget to sit down and talk about war and world. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
Every director has their own sense of style. Some of them are more involved in the character development, and some of them are more involved in the action piece moments. But Jordan Peele, I think, is good at giving us a little bit of both. He's got
California amusement park. Oh, just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? What? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live. Anyway, behind this holiday fantasy, Gold Rush Frontier lies a sinister secret. Smack down in the center of New York hotspot. Welcome to the world of no.
He definitely has a very subtle way of dropping major hints, like the title Note, for instance, right? It stands for not of planet Earth. So leave it to him to give us the entire meaning of the film hidden in the title. And when I think of the word subtle, I don't really think of the Fast and Furious franchise, but that's why people love it.
Asked us to stash you from Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot. We're having a few friends over. It's a little messy, but it's all good. The more the merrier. Especially you right there in the third row. You know what I'm saying? So look, see over there? Pop's urban assault vehicle.
Gee, somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Call it the